Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the next episode of the Kitchen Table Pundits podcast. I'm Tyrone.
I'm Travis.
And today, we are talking impeachment. Yes, we're talking impeachment. If you listened last week, you know that there was a call that surfaced between President Donald Trump and the President of Ukraine, President Zelensky.
Yes.
How do you say Zelensky? I don't know. Zelensky.
Yeah, it's something like that.
So,
it starts with a Z and there's a ski at the end of it. It's very Ukrainian, very
Eastern
Russian.
European,
yes,
dude.
Exactly. So that's
so
you know that.
He talked to him, and basically it was that conversation that he had with him that led Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, to open up an impeachment inquiry. So right now we've got committees in the House, different committees looking into compiling evidence to make the case for impeachment against the President of the United States for the fourth time in this nation's history.
Yes, for the fourth time in this nation's history.
Yeah.
We're going to look at impeaching and convicting the President of the United States. We have Johnson, Nixon, Clinton, and now Donald Trump.
Right. Now we have Donald Trump. So
yeah. For some people, this is the third impeachment proceedings of their lifetime, which is
right. It's the second for me. Holy shit! I was around for Clinton. This is fun.
Right?
This is familiar.
Yeah, right. So I mean, so it does seem like these things are kind of happening at a higher rate of speed, but you know that's fine. I think this case in particular is interesting. So
yeah. So. We're going to talk about impeachment, not so much the nuances and the nitty-gritty of the actual phone call and what's implied. I mean, basically, it has to do with the president withholding aid to Ukraine in return for them looking into Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son. If you don't know who Joe Biden is, he was the former vice president of the United States. He's currently running for president, and you need to pay more attention. So that was what's on the call. The problem and why this is an issue is because, well, it's illegal for any country to do something to help anybody running for office in the United States, whether or not you promise to give them something, whether you bribe them into doing it, whether they just really fucking like you and are doing it on their own. It doesn't matter. The point is, if you're running for office in America, you cannot receive help or anything that is worth value from a foreign government. It's that simple.
it is. It's not that hard to follow.
So Republicans have been out there saying, well, it's technically not quid pro quo. It's not I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, even though the president has taken clear actions to suggest that that's what he thinks is going on.
Right, exactly. Like, you know, we know for a fact all this money and aid has been withheld for months.
Right.
And Congress has been scratching their head over it for months. Even Republicans and Democrats, kind of trying to figure out what's going on with this money. What's the purpose? And the story has been changing from the White House every single month, and they just couldn't figure it out. And then this happens. Right. And it's almost like everyone's like, oh, you know, and it's like, Trump like, no, it's not what you think. And it's like, it's exactly what we think. It's starting to look really ugly for the president.
And the kicker is, like, the reason why we're all so certain that it's as bad as we think is because the White House got it in their head that it'd be a great idea to release a memo of the phone call. That has hits like, quote, this is from the transcript, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General, our Attorney General, William Barr,
which that was shocking,
would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution, so if you could look into it, it sounds horrible to me. That is pretty much all we need to know. What makes it worse is that he literally uses the word favor with regard to all this. He literally says, I'm going to need you to do me a favor.
Yes.
Before expressing what he wanted him to do.
Right.
So, again, if you're following along, it's illegal for a president or anyone running for office in the United States to ask for help or receive help from a foreign government that could contribute anything of value to the campaign. I'd say
illegal.
Dirt on your president, on your political opponent, is something of value to your campaign.
Right.
So that's it.
Yes.
We shouldn't be talking about this.
Right.
And at this juncture, it looks like the Democrats are going to focus on this phone call and what was promised and what and all of that as they collect their evidence. There's a narrow scope. I think we got a fucking cornucopia full of juicy morsels that we can just drag in here as finances. Just to name a few, outside of the Stormy Daniels thing, and there's so many.
Yeah, no, I
there's so
agree.
many.
There's so much stuff we can drag in, but this narrow scope, at least we'll get the ball rolling, I guess. And I don't know.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, do you think that's? I mean, that's where we're starting. Do you think that's wise?
Right. I think it is, just because I don't think the American people now have an opportunity to get so confused over all this. What's a crime? What's inappropriate? What's frowned upon? This or that. This narrow scope, it focuses on bad behaviors, and it focuses on actual crimes, misconduct. So I think it works because we can simplify the whole argument and present it, and if we can't win on this argument here, we ain't gonna win no matter what. We can drag everything out if people aren't gonna get behind and support removing this president from office based on the facts in this narrow scope. I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to present to them that's going to say, oh, okay, that's it. I think this is very easy to frame, like you said. It's right there, cut and dry. And the more we investigate, the more it's going to come out. It's not a coincidence that the Ukrainian money was withheld. Right. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that everybody in the room who have heard these phone calls in the server that now has the hidden transcripts on them with other countries and other leaders. It's no coincidence that these people immediately are like, no, we have to lock this stuff down. Right. These are career officials. These are smart people. They know what's going on here. They know what just happened. Right. You know what I mean? This is not hard stuff to sell. So I think if they cannot get the job done with this narrow scope, if they can't at least put together a case that's winnable, we'll never put it together, because there's not, it just gets more complicated and more sleazy, and it's,
I agree. That's interesting. I gotta tell you, I didn't really think of it that way. I mean, because like I said, we got, a bucket full of misery that Trump's, been pulling out of his whole presidency. I would agree that if out of all the things that we could, open this impeachment up with, This is the easiest. It's the easiest to understand. It's not a hard sell. I guess.
And he's digging his own grave now. I mean, I think yesterday I saw he wanted to meet the whistleblower. He demands. This is real. This is real shit. Like he's like, I need to know who the whistleblower is. Like, what?
Yeah, he said.
Is that even
the White House is hunting down the whistleblowers?
Like, at this point, he's marching himself out of office. Like, there's no, it's like, well, that's gonna be another article right there.
And it's like, we already mentioned how that the White House started digging, put the shovel in the ground with the release of this memo. It should also be worth noting that we found out about this whole call because the whistleblower went through the proper legal channels to bring this to the right people's attention. So it's not like, because we've been used to leaks just all over the White House during this administration. Right. This wasn't a leak. Right. This wasn't somebody talking out of school, even though, if you see something, say something. Right. But this guy did. He did it the right way. Yeah. He didn't go to the Fox or MSNBC. He didn't go to the Times.
Right, exactly.
He went through the proper procedures. This is why I think normally I would say, but what about all the other stuff? Look at his fucking finances, stupid. Normally I would be in this camp, but god damn it, they made it so easy for us.
Exactly.
I honestly don't mind keeping the scope of the investigation this narrow. I think if we got anything else because these committees have been looking into the Trump administration and the shady shit him and his people have been doing already. So there's already a gang evidence that they have about the other stuff. I'm guessing instead of trying to put that all in the forefront,
right,
we could use those as bullet points.
Yeah. and they're still investigating multiple things going on.
Why would it be hard to believe that the president was asking the president of Ukraine to do this favor for him when we know that he is willing to have his attorney pay off porn stars that he cheated with?
Right. Exactly.
We have Andy Cohen in jail right now.
Right.
Because he helped the president pay off a porn star.
Michael Cohen, not Andy.
Michael Cohen. Andy Cohen's the fucking Real Housewives.
Bravo guy, right? Yeah. I don't think he'd appreciate that.
I don't think he
would like that.
I am sorry, Andy Cohen. Woo! Oh, I apologize, sir. That's bad.
Can't do that thing.
But
Andy Cohen.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's things. Every action this man's taken has been a blatant fucking slap in the face to the law, to the judicial process, to our intelligence. So yeah, I honestly thought I'd be calling for a wider scope during this impeachment inquiry. But no, I dig the narrow scope. It's cut and dried. Not? Trump's fucking himself.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. I think
by the time we pile all the evidence, Trump will wittingly and unwittingly provide us with the other half of the
another
prosecution.
Article. So yeah, that's. I don't think this is going to be an issue just because it is Donald Trump. And again, there's just now that we have him focused on this, we can just continue to investigate other things, and it's all going to be a snowball effect. Eventually, it's all rolling downhill. Right. But I think right now is a great spot to start, and I think it would serve Donald Trump, the Republicans in the country, if he was to cut a deal pretty quickly.
Right.
I think he needs to try to figure out exactly how he can remove himself from this, without minimizing the damage. So because if I don't see how they keep him around any much longer when they realize that he's not worth anything to him.
Right. So let's get into that a little bit, because even though you don't have to be a legal expert to see that there's been clearly wrongdoing on the part of the president.
Right.
Republicans have been doing their job. The feckless ones, the cowards, the morons of the monsters and the morons. They've been going around TV contradicting themselves, screaming at journalists, getting embarrassed, called out. It's been a disaster. But they're at least in public. The Republicans in public are defending the president. I think that behind closed doors, you're right. They're trying to figure out the best way to shove this man off a stage. We had I read today that Mitch McConnell was on TV. Saying that he was on CNBC, and he said, "Look, if the House votes to impeach after all this, we're gonna have to move on it.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to have a trial.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to go to the next step." Everybody was wondering if Mitch McConnell. They should be worried because Mitch McConnell hasn't done a goddamn thing.
Right, exactly.
So they're thinking, are you going to do nothing still?
Are you going to pretend that it's not there? Or are you just going to do this?
So we have McConnell on the record saying, yo, if the Democrats fucking make this layup, because it is, then I can't not do anything.
Yeah.
Because it's a layup. So we already know shit's going to get real for the president once once the ball gets rolling formally on the impeachment process. But you think that they're behind closed doors, they're they're trying to figure out how to dispatch of this idiot,
right.
right?
I think they're trying to figure out because again, Nancy Pelosi is not going to invite an impeached president as Speaker of the House to give the State of the Union next year. No. The Republicans are not going to nominate an impeached president to be their nominee of their party. That's not going to happen. All right, so people start. So for people to think that this can go on as normal, like it has been the crazy sideshow while Donald Trump is currently facing impeachment or is impeached and facing a trial in the Senate. Things aren't going to go on as normal.
Right.
So Republicans right now, and I think before Christmas, are going to try to figure out how to get this motherfucker a deal, how to get him out, so they can try to figure out what it's going to look like, who they're going to run, because they don't know, would Mike Pence even run? Does he want to run? Is he, does he even want to, stay? Do they have to find another nominee?
Is he not get
right?
Is he going to get dragged out?
Is he going to get dragged out of this? Is he going to get, they're going to both go down to the bitter end? You know what I mean? Like they need to know. So figure out like who they're going to run, what their party is going to look like, who's going to lead their party next year. And the year's almost over. Right. The fall's here. It's snowing in places. The year is we're at the end of the year. They need to figure out how it's going to look in going into primary season, and them getting behind and having their leader being an impeached president is not something I think the Republicans are going to want to do. You don't have to be, it doesn't matter what you believe in.
Right.
You have to have strategy. And if you want to win, that regardless what ideology you believe in, that's not a good strategy to have.
Right.
So I think behind the scenes they're going to be urging him and pressuring him eventually that, hey, look, you should resign, you should quit as soon, because as we know more evidence is going to come out,
right.
And how the White House and Donald Trump has handled the evidence that's come out now, if that's any indication of how they're going to handle the evidence that's going to come out in the future,
right.
The Republicans' hair will be on fire.
And it's not even. I mean, this has been about a week. You're right. This has been about a week, and no Republican talking point is working.
Yeah,
and nothing
they know
is sticking. There's no defense. So all it is pretty much from the outside for me, it just feels like we're watching the Republicans run around with their hair on fire while the Democrats calmly just, I'll put this piece of evidence here.
Yeah.
We'll build this case here. It's all right. Take your time. It's indefensible.
It's an election year.
We don't gotta rush.
Right, exactly. We can take our time.
We'll get this. So
exactly.
it's pretty much a layup. And I gotta tell you, I'm a little disheartened by some of the people on my side of the aisle, who are naysaying and poo-pooing this whole thing. Like, impeachment's a big deal.
It is.
So
it's enormous.
So if you think that, A, the Democrats aren't going to take this seriously, or that at the end it's not going to mean anything, you're wrong.
Right.
So, establishment Democrats haven't been the most graceful when it comes to other issues.
It's debatable, but
which is debatable, and we'll debate them. But right now, it's all so easy to see. Like, I don't see how the Democrats can fuck this up. Do you?
No, I really don't. I think they have a lot of things going for them now. Especially this is on the world stage. People are looking. Republicans see that, and they know that they can't continue to obstruct this process because, regardless, let me just say, regardless of what people say back at home, regardless of what the spin is, the bottom line is that there's other countries around the world that are watching us.
Sure.
And they don't care what the spin is. They know what the truth is. They have their own intelligence. They know what the truth is. They know that we got played. Yeah. They know we look stupid. They know what's going on in America. So if they look at us and see that we're not going to do anything about it, and we're just going to pretend like it doesn't happen because it's he's part of my party kind of shit,
right?
They're going to file that away, and they're going to make America is we can do better. We can do bad on our own. We can do better without them. Right. They're going to start to realize that America is nothing. It's an idea. It's a dream. You know what I mean? It's an experiment, but it's not something that this little young country has it all figured out. Because look what they're doing. They allowed Russia to commit this attack.
Right.
They went forward with this president who everybody on earth knew wasn't qualified to run. They allowed him to destroy the office, commit crimes, and then they did nothing about it.
Right.
And then they try to justify it because of a political party. Like
right.
if Russia can do that to America, imagine what anyone else can do to us.
Right.
Just by hacking our elections and spreading misinformation and playing to our fringes of America and basically knowing that, well, all we have to do is play the other side, of the people we want to crush, bolster them up, and the people we bolster up will be on our side, and the people we want to crush won't admit that we actually did it because they're too embarrassed to admit
right.
that it was us. That's Americans' egos.
Right.
So I feel like other countries are going to look at that playbook and say, you know what, we can just use America and their egos and crush them. Mm-hmm. We don't need them. The world survived a long time without America, and it will go on without it.
Yeah.
So it's this arrogance that we have, like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to us. Do you really think they give a fuck about us? If we want to be over here playing around and letting our leaders commit crimes and being corrupt, they're gonna move on.
Right.
And that's just how it is. And I think we need to really take that seriously. So we can set people on the left who are who think that the Democrats are gonna take this seriously or think that it's not worth it. Trust me, other people are watching, and the Democrats are taking it seriously, and this is a very serious thing.
I think I would just I agree, and I would add on that the system is corrupt, and many of the establishment Democrats are benefiting from that corrupt system, and I rail about it all the time. But I don't care how much money they make or what they're involved in or how competent they are. Everybody knows that they can't keep getting whatever benefit it is for being an establishment Democrat if A, the country as we know it isn't here anymore, and B, if other countries don't want to do business with us, don't take us seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are rich and your pockets are fat from being a part of the military industrial complex, and you don't have foreign governments backing you up for your senseless war, you're not getting paid, right? You're just getting people slaughtered. Right. No one wants that. That's the game's shown. The game's rigged. It's over. You lose. Right? You see what I'm saying? Right. So even the corrupt aren't so corrupt, I don't think, that they can let a president who is this incompetent and this dangerous to our democracy, they can't just let that go.
No, it won't. It makes no sense.
I don't think the monsters among us are that monstrous.
It makes no sense because the monsters, their ultimate goal, ultimately is to, use America, to leech off America, use America as their springboard.
Sure.
So if America has no credibility, if America is broke, that's bad for them. Yep. Now, I don't know how instant all that will happen. Regardless if America was to collapse today, before they felt it, they'd probably be dead. Their kids would be dead before their family actually felt it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we do gotta look at the future of this country. We gotta look at it. What is it going to look like 50 years from now, 100 years from now, like our founders before us did. Yeah. That's not happening anymore. We don't innovate anymore. We don't we don't try to we're kind of stuck. Like, oh, no, we're good. It's about me right now. I don't care. And the only thing that I can see our own party, the liberals, get excited about the future is the environment.
Sure.
And it's like, well, great. I'm glad that the country, the world is going to stay clean, but there's not going to be any countries in it. There's going to be no people left. So what's the point? Like it's almost like that's the only thing people can seem to get excited about in the future, but they can't seem to get excited about making sure that we actually exist in the future, making sure that we have governments and people are free and that people aren't born into slavery or born into poverty, or born into horrible situations. We're not ensuring that doesn't happen in the future. But if you ask somebody if they're gonna recycle their plastic and drive a hybrid, absolutely. But if you ask somebody, are you gonna make sure that the little Latina girl isn't gonna be born into a sex trafficking organization somewhere in Guatemala or South America somewhere? Be like, well, I don't really know what to do about that. I don't really, vote that much. And I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know about that. They really should be coming over the border. It's like, I didn't say anything about the border. You know what I mean? It's like, you just, people just kind of like, I don't know about stuff. So I wish people would just kind of, focused on the future of the world like they did the environment.
Well,
And I think if they did, people would see that this impeachment inquiry is much more serious than originally thought. They would see how serious is this for the future of our country.
I think that's interesting take. I think it also dovetails beautifully into what I want to touch on next, because when it comes to ideas like that,
Yeah.
that's what candidates are for. Candidates are supposed to embody ideas like that, and wouldn't you know, we got a bunch of them running right now.
Yeah.
So, if you were a presidential candidate,
Yeah.
what would you do? Would you lean in heavy into this impeachment thing? Would you focus on a more foreign, sending your message more around foreign policy and rebuilding America's relationship with the world, or would you stay on the specific issues that voters are talking about, i.e. the health care for all, and free college, and the environment? Would you stick with those issues? Would you mix anything? How would you proceed?
I'll
tell you how I'd proceed.
I would make impeachment right there at the forefront. Like, that would be my main issue. I'd also mix it with other policies that people want to talk about. But everything I would start with would be we're impeaching Donald Trump because this is important, and this is why it's important. Right. And then I would talk about the issues, because I would link all of that with the issues that people support. People say, well, if they say, like, well, I'm really concerned about unions, and it's like, well, this is why the impeachment is so important, because going forward as a country, we have to show everybody that we are serious as a nation. We're not clowns, you know what I mean, and we're taking issues seriously. And if you can't talk about fixing unions in America or fixing infrastructure, and then have Donald Trump run amok and not do anything about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because then no one's going to take the process seriously. It's if you say, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and it's like, well, they're just gonna elect somebody who's going to just commit crimes to overturn it anyway. So why should I actually even do anything or care? So I think I would lead with impeachment as a candidate, just to get people, just to show people how important it is. Mm-hmm. To have a functioning democracy, to all the issues that you care about. So if I was a presidential candidate, I would push the impeachment. I'd push impeachment heavily, because Americans, they just don't get it sometimes. Even the ones who are woke and involved, they just don't. Mm-hmm. We just don't understand. We just don't get it. How insane this little part of our history is. Like, having how problematic it can be for the future. Yeah. And we all have our issues, and I don't want to get stuck down on thinking that I don't want to get stuck thinking that we can solve our problems, right, and have somebody in the White House get away with the things that he's done. Sure. I don't think that works in the same world. I don't think we can do that, because we can't realistically solve anything if we don't deal with this major problem. You know, and that's just my take on it. So impeachment for me would be number one, and then everything else would be secondary, because if you don't deal with this problem, you can't, out of good faith, show up and say, we're going to deal with everything else. We're going to deal with the other stuff. You can't do it. To me, you just can't. Right. So this has to be dealt with, and you have to be looked at that you're taking it seriously.
So in my view, I think I agree with all that. I would just add that I think the president, the candidate who wins the Democratic nomination rather, is going to be the candidate who runs on impeachment and couples it with a fucking bike lock to corruption in this country. It should be,
yeah, definitely.
Hi, I'm candidate so-and-so, corruption. Blah, 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 impeachment. Blah, 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 impeachment, corruption. Blah, 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 corruption. Impeachment, corruption.
Yeah.
Healthcare, corruption. Yeah. Corruption, money, wars, impeachment. Corruption, like...
So like a mix of...
that's... You can't do anything. You can't fix any of the issues without addressing the corruption. And there's no bigger indication that the corruption is a real thing than the fact that we're impeaching a president.
Right.
So if you're going to talk about
Go
impeachment and how this guy's got to go, that's great. But dare I say, you would be remiss if you didn't say, oh, and by the way, he needs to go because he's corrupt. Much like the corruption we see at home, he's spending it abroad.
Right.
And we can't have that. We have to end corruption now. And that's what I would do.
Yeah, we can't just end corrupt. Yeah, we have to focus on corruption, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think that goes hand in hand also. You have to make sure that you're also touting that message and how important that is. This is corruption.
Because the system is fucking broken, dude.
Right.
The system, it's not a what we were talking last night, I said it's not like a philosophical debate anymore as to whether or not we live in a failed democracy.
Right.
We do.
Right, exactly.
It's not a cliche thing to talk about the state, say when you're talking about the state of affairs. It's not just because, the president's a Republican and I'm a Democrat and I don't like that, so I feel I live in a fallen nation and hyperbolic.
Yeah, no.
It's not.
We're failing the course right now. That doesn't mean we're going to fail the class. It doesn't mean we're going to fail the whole semester. It doesn't mean we're going to drop out.
Right.
It means right now, at the midterm, we have a failing grade.
You have a failing grade.
Okay, so I think everybody can get that. Yep. We all know what that means.
Yep.
Right? You have a failing grade.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. We need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important.
So that's why, we can't go forward without talking about the corruption. And I need somebody to just fucking stand up and be like, God, it's the corruption, stupid.
Yeah.
It's the corruption.
Right.
That's why. Because we got a bunch of people who don't take their job seriously, cutting deals and enriching themselves with your money on the backs of your labor.
Yep.
And then now they're exporting it around the world.
Yep.
So I want to break open those secret servers because whistleblowers and other government officials said that the Ukraine call, was stored in a server where they would normally put top secret classified information, which is fine.
Right, like if aliens are coming to attack us, that kind of stuff.
Which is fine, great. But the officials are saying the calls themselves don't reach the level.
Not even close.
Of what would go in that server.
Exactly, not even close.
So that's like putting $20 in a bank vault.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? That vault is for diamonds and jewels and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's like you putting your paycheck in there.
Exactly.
It doesn't belong there. Put it in your fucking checking account.
That's like you're afraid to tell everybody you owe John the crackhead money. So you take your paycheck and hide it in the bank's safe.
Right.
And the bank's like, what are you doing? Oh, well, I don't want anyone to know that I owe John the money, so I'm hiding my money here. And it's like, this is not what this is for. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing?
Right. So, I want that vault cracked open. I want to read those fucking calls. I don't want the other calls. Don't be disingenuous. They'll try to deflect. There's secret things in there. There's stops. I don't want. I want.
I want the calls with Putin, and I want the calls with the Saudis too, though.
Yep.
I want those calls.
Fucking Mohammed Bonesaw, man.
Yeah.
I want to know what he was talking about. Right. The president talked to him after he cut up a fucking journalist.
Exactly.
So now
I want to know why that call is secret. That makes sense. I want to know what that means.
It came out that the president was talking to Vladimir Putin. Talking about how he didn't mind that Russia hacked an election. It was, quote, no concern to him.
Yeah.
So I want that fucking call.
Right.
Because the corruption's stupid. We can't fix anything if we have people like this in power. And I think an impeachment will shine a light on clearly the wrongdoings of the president.
Right.
But on all the other fucking rats and roaches
exactly
in that administration and government.
To see where, exactly. To see the streak of corruption and see where it leads and see where it's from. I think everybody, it'll do everybody a huge service to seeing, the corruption in the light. Turning the light on, watching the roaches run, seeing where they're running to, and be like, oh, that's what's back there.
And
that's what's under there.
And I'll tell you what, I don't care how red your state is. If your constituents see you fucking stick it up for this guy once all the shit comes out, and you're still out there defending this guy. Americans hate corruption.
Yeah.
Republicans and Democrats alike. They don't like it.
Exactly.
They want to drain the swamp. Remember? You dumb fuck.
Exactly.
You're the swamp. You just showed everybody you're the swamp.
Yep.
You think they're going to have your back? The idiots and the monsters will. but that 43%'s dropping to 25, dude.
Oh, easy.
Real easy.
I seen a poll earlier. I think there's a poll that has 45% supporting impeachment, and there was like one that was like close to 50 or 51. I mean, either way, it's going up significantly up. Where people are like, this is so easy to follow because again, because the president talks like a moron.
Right.
So I mean, that transcript is very easy to follow.
Let's touch on that. It's mind blowing in and of itself. Usually, it would take months for the Democrats to build a case to get people on board to place the vote. This happened last week.
Yeah.
People this week are saying, fucking vote. Do it.
Right. Let's go.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger, Mr. Chan.
Yeah.
they are ready for this because they see the corruption. We're not as dumb and divided as the media and the Trump administration would have you think.
Oh, yeah. I urge everybody, if you got 5-10 minutes, go read that transcript. It's easy to follow. The president talks like a 7-year-old. So, it's very simple and direct, and you can pretty much see like, oh yeah, that's what he's saying. You don't
even have to be a legal expert.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even have to study law, know how fucking the judicial system works.
If you walked into your job at McDonald's and you heard the boss talking to the general manager of Burger King the same way, you'd be like, what is going on here? It's that easy to follow. It's like you could just, you know what I mean? It just doesn't, it just doesn't mesh. It doesn't make any sense.
Like, check it out. This is U.S. Code subsection 30121 on contributions and donations by foreign nationals. Sounds heady, right? It's going to be a big read. It's going to be hard to understand. It shall be unlawful for a foreign national, directly or indirectly, to make a contribution or donation of money or other thing of value. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. It's illegal. We're done. We're done. That took 14 seconds. It's not that hard to follow. So the Republicans are going to keep spinning their tires. The Democrats are going to keep building their case.
And eventually they're going to expand the impeachment inquiry. And it's going to be 30, 40 articles of impeachment before, before they can finish. Because this is what happened with the Mueller probe. They couldn't stop because it was just there were so many, so much corruption and so much misleading and so much crimes that were being uncovered.
Right.
Eventually, it just looks like that's why the Mueller report was such a mess in a way, because it just looked like he just stopped at one point. Just like, this is what I got. Figure it out, Congress. Like, at this point, it's on you. Sure. And now Congress has the thing. They have the ability to do it. And I think this is ultimately what Mueller wanted. I think he wanted some kind of inquiry, some formal impeachment to be opened up. So now everything can be thrown under that umbrella, and it's going to be a shit show.
Right.
That's why I think, by Christmas Eve, if Donald Trump hasn't resigned or hasn't at least been asked to resign and it's public knowledge, I would be shocked.
Yeah, because there should be rumors of his resignation.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I would be shocked. Like, going into next year, January next year, and knowing that he's not giving the State of the Union.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Knowing that they're going to nominate a president who's going through an impeachment, hearing.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating to see that that's actually going to happen. Okay, fine. I mean, we can run whoever we want. I'd say, fuck it. Throw Elizabeth Warren in there. Throw Bernie Sanders in there. Let them run on that ticket together. Let's get as progressive and as blue as we possibly can. Why not? We're not going to lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy really wants to. I mean, so this is over. The Republicans, so we can get the Senate, of the House. Let's take everything. Let's go all blue in Texas. Let's get them all, because there's no way we're going to lose this. You're not going to be able to run this and win any majority, in this country. And if you do, well, then we suck. We lost. It's over. Yeah. It's time to move. If that was to happen, then let's leave. There's no point. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just we've lost. Yeah. So if that's the case, if they want to go
Toronto's nice.
Yeah, right. Exactly, you know what I mean? So if that's what they want to do, the Republicans next year, and say, nope, we're hitching our wagon to this man. He's impeached. All the evidence is coming out. And it's a hot mess. And we're embarrassment on the world stage. If they're saying that's what we're going to run in November, well, hell, let's run whoever the fuck we want then. Yep. You know what I mean? Let's just have let's have a field day. Because we are going to crush them.
Yeah.
If they come out next year and say, no, this is it. We're you notice how the Republican Party was trying to shut down primaries. They haven't heard that rumor lately.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they have the ability to shut down all these primaries over these states, but they haven't even started doing that now. They're like, well, let's hold off.
Yeah.
Because
and at the same time, I mean, just a further indication that my prediction that the Republican Party is going to fall is happening right now. Like, okay, tomorrow the Republicans wake up, they smell the coffee, like, he's got to go. We support everything to do to get him out of here. We're going to find somebody else. Who do they get?
Yeah.
Who do you rally fucking 13 months away from an election?
Yeah, I think
a whole base around.
Yeah.
Who's going to not only win an election but restore the integrity of your party in 13 months? Who? Are you going to exhume Richard Nixon?
I was saying
or Ronald Reagan? Is that what you're going to do?
Mitt Romney can do it. Mitt Romney can do it, but I think Mitt Romney's a smart guy. I actually think Mitt Romney's a smart politician. I really don't think that he wants,
let's talk about that.
He wants to lose for a third time. I don't think, I think he knows, like, I don't want to be the guy to rally the party up just so I can go out there and lose my third election.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on.
Who the fuck? I'm serious. Who's it going to be?
So
Bill Weld?
Right, no.
Who?
No, right. Exactly. No,
John Walsh? Oh, Mini Trump.
Yeah.
That guy?
No, not him.
So Mitt Romney, okay. Plausible.
John Kasich, I think.
Kasich should have. Maybe.
I think Kasich's good, but it's again.
But he's boring.
Right, exactly.
He's not
going to have somebody who's going to excite.
Though.
You're right. They excite the party. I think it's going to. I think these Republicans are going to start getting hungry though. I think even people like Marco Rubio is going to get hungry. I think people are going to be like, you know what, this guy. If we're going to go down, let's try to get somebody on the ballot who's respectable. Who can. I think. That's where they're going to go. If they don't go there, fine. Like I said, we can run whoever we want then. If they don't go that route,
I don't think there's anyone respectable among them.
Oh, that's not true. I think
Who?
I think
maybe Classy Ben Sass.
I was just going to throw his name out there.
Maybe that guy.
I think there's a lot of Republicans who are respectable. I may disagree with them fiercely on a lot of things, but,
Who's out here who's been going against the fucking hardcore Trumpers, not the racists and bigots. I mean the hardcore Trump, like the Steve Kings of the party, who's been coming out saying, I'm a fucking Republican. I'll tell you who. All the ones who've left this year.
Yeah.
Who've left the fucking office, party. Because they're smart. There's no one among who.
I'm not gonna chastise them for being politicians or playing politics.
No, I'm not saying.
But I mean, in general, Republicans who still have a spine.
I'm glad they left. I'm not knocking that. No. I'm just saying what's left over.
Right. What's left? I'm talking about the ones who are left over. We got like you said, Ben Sass and Mitt Romney, and I think Marco Rubio is competent. I think Tim Scott is competent. I think Susan Collins and Murkowski all have a brain, and I think they could. They're easy people that can get behind, one, impeaching the president, and two, they can restore some kind of respectability to the party. You know what I mean? If they were to run, or if they were to be in the discussion on fixing the Republican Party, you wouldn't be mortified. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's those people that need to stand up and say things. There are a lot of decent Republicans. Even governors. And it's they need. We can't make them stand up. It's the stuff they say in private is where journalists are like, well,
sure,
all these guys are saying this stuff in private. If they could just say it in public, it would really go a long way. I don't know yet. I don't really want to go out there. And it's like that kind of stuff.
Sure. And I'm not here trying to make you fucking defend the Republicans. All I'm saying is, even among those people who I think are decent in principle, debatably, then I'm saying they're nothing to be afraid of. Because they're going to get out there and they're not going to shit their pants. But that's not going to be enough,
right. The ones who aren't going to shit their pants, that's
not going to be enough. No, I'm telling you. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Republicans won't be able to run for dog catcher once the 2020 election's over. Specifically, if this impeachment goes through, as easy as we think it will. So,
but back to what we were saying earlier about Republicans and them not getting elected next year and what they're gonna tie their wagon to.
Sure.
I think, again, I'm gonna say this again. If the Republicans, regardless of what happens, if they come out next year and say we're running Donald Trump no matter what, we are sticking with him to the end.
Right.
I think Democrats need to raise billions of dollars and invest it into red states like Georgia, into Texas, and Arizona. I mean, we need to make sure that we make them pay. Mm-hmm. That's why I strongly believe Donald Trump will either resign or will be asked to resign, before the end of the year. And if he doesn't, we need to go all in
Yep.
on it. I mean, we need to go all in everything. We don't need to be strategic or this and that. We need to go in and blast the fucking doors off. Like, and just go in and start clearing out like a fucking raid, because if they want to,
I'm talking Congress, I'm talking state houses,
I'm exactly talking, everything.
I want every mayor to
county
be blue.
Executive, yes, every fucking town and city that we can have any kind of influence. If it's 55-45 Republicans are winning, that's why I want to go there. Then that's a 10%. We can go to find voters. Let's pull people out of their house. I don't care what we ever have to do to make sure we turn this country a deep solid blue. So blue, it will take them at least a decade to scrape one shade off. You know what I mean? Like, and we have the control of the census and all that. You know what I mean? I want everything.
That's exactly what I want, and that'll be easy to do.
Right. So if it'll be
very easy to do.
Again, that's why I think it's highly unlikely that Trump won't be at least asked to resign before the end of the year. If they double down and say, we're going to run him and he's our guy,
right? We
need to make them pay.
Yep.
Everybody, all hands on deck. If that's what they want to get behind, let's go for it.
Word.
Everything.
Let's throw down. I'm ready. I'm ready, man.
Because we cannot normalize this. If that's what they say, like, nope, this is our guy, okay, then we're not going to normalize it. We're going to fight them with exactly, we're going to fight them with the weapons that they asked for. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're going to fight that. We're going to bring the fight that they want.
Yeah.
If that's what they want, we'll fight them then. I think we should, really make sure we have our ducks in line. If that becomes, if that's what it becomes next year, if it's the Republican Party, Donald Trump, impeached and all, is running for the presidency still, we need to make sure that they feel the loss.
Word up. Word up. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't have anything to add. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to have some fun? We got a few minutes left.
Yeah.
Let's make some predictions. You say by the end of Christmas, we should have rumors of his demise floating around the halls of power in Washington. So, how do we get there? What's going to happen? What do the next few weeks look like? What do you think? How do you think it's going to shake out? Because right now, just for people who aren't familiar with the process, we're just the House committees are just gathering information.
Right.
We haven't had the vote yet. The vote to start the process of impeachment. So
we know that vote it's going to happen, and we know ultimately the House of Representatives are going to vote to impeach this president. We know that this is where this is going. We know this. So I think once that happens, that's when the Republicans are going to go to the President of the United States. And they're going to tell him, look, we can't support you. We're not going to support you in the Senate. Kind of a lot like what happened to Nixon. And they're going to ask him to resign. And they're going to try to maybe get a deal, try to figure out, say, this is what you can get, this is what you can do. Knowing Donald Trump, that might not go well. It might, depending on how well they scare him. But, so I don't know if he'll actually resign. But I know I have a feeling that he will be asked.
Sure.
By the end of the year. And I think the ball's in his court. I think he doesn't get invited to the State of the Union. I think that primary challenges ramp up, and I think the establishment Republicans are going to have a decision to make. Are they going to fight for the future of the party? Are they going to fight for Donald Trump and his family this year? You know what I mean? It's up to them. It's like, because, eventually, the crimes are they already are coming out. More of them are going to come out.
Yeah.
These are crimes. He's not, I don't think anyone on this earth believes that Donald Trump has not committed a crime in the White House. You know what I mean? So
it's clear at this point.
Right. So this is where we're at. So wherever you want to hit your wagon on, my prediction is Trump resigns by the end of the year, or Trump is asked to resign by the end of the year. What happens at that point, I don't know.
I think one of my favorite things to think about is like how the Republicans are going to spin this as this is all going down. Because I think it'll shake out pretty much more or less the way you said. But I wonder what that bag of tricks has got to be running dry, dude.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe we'll hear something about Hillary.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Hillary Clinton, she's probably going to be mentioned.
Her emails?
I seen earlier today or yesterday wanted transcripts of Obama's phone calls.
Oh, really?
Or something like that. Yeah, like for whatever.
Okay.
No reason. Just figured, my guy's transcripts got released and showed that he committed all these crimes. So I just thought you should release Obama's too.
Yeah.
To show that he didn't commit any crimes. Like, what do you?
Oh my God! Check out the fucking interview if you haven't with Stephen Miller on Fox News getting interviewed by Chris Wallace.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, that's such a good interview.
It was a bloodbath.
Oh, it was so good.
Bloodbath.
Because Chris Wallace is like steel faced, not having any of it, and Stephen Miller is just shook because shit, all he has is the talking points, and he wasn't expecting anybody to push back on him.
Right.
Especially Chris Wallace, which you should get by now.
By now, right.
You should understand Chris Wallace isn't fucking around.
Right. They should probably, exactly.
He's one of the, 3 decent journalists on Fox News.
Literally 3.
If you're in front of Chris Wallace, he's not going to fucking suck you off and, go along with your talking points.
Exactly.
Do your fucking homework, and they don't get it. And then they throw hissy fits and go on Fox and Friends, and that circle jerk's hilarious.
That is.
So I just love the Republican meltdown. And
he was, he was a hot mess on that show.
And he was a hot mess, and I love shit like that because it shows you just how feckless and weak that, and how much principle is lacking in the party. Which is why, I said earlier, who we gonna fight?
Yeah, right.
Because it's hard, man.
Who's gonna stand up and say something? That's the thing. Is like
fucking Jim Jordan with Jake Tapper.
Yeah,
he's out there looking like an ass.
Yep.
It's great because when your agenda is enriching yourself in cruelty, and you adopt a mob mentality, then it's really, really hard for people to take you seriously.
Yeah.
When you make excuses for getting caught. Like when you do these things, it's hard for journalists to sit there and just let you keep getting away with it when all the evidence is piling up.
Yes.
And the fat lady sang, man. Over the last 4 years, we've seen instance after instance after instance of people using these talking points to obfuscate the truth, but the curtain's been fucking pulled back, man.
Yeah.
We see you've been lying the whole time.
Yep.
And you're not above lying to continue doing the shit you're doing. So why are we going to sit here and pretend this is a normal interview?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
That's it's great.
I think there's going to be more onus on journalists to make sure that they're fact checking in real time.
Right.
And
you think the news will get better?
Well, I think there was an interesting story the other day with Joe Biden and his campaign asking asking news organizations not to book Giuliani, which is a very, slippery slope right there. You know what I mean? You don't want to tell a news organization who they can and cannot book.
Right.
You should never, have. I strongly believe a candidate should not have the ability to do that.
Right.
But again, we are in kind of crazy times. So I guess Joe Biden and his campaign basically said, stop putting the president's lying lawyer on TV.
Yeah.
Now, there's no playbook on how to deal with the president's lying lawyer. The president has the White House counsel. It's the best representation in the world. But at this point, the president feels like he needs to have a guy show up on talk shows every other day and lie on his behalf. Yeah, right, yeah. And that's these are different times. That's never happened. We've never had, President Obama. We've never had some guy just showing up at every show. He just told lies about Obama. Just,
who are you? Oh, I'm Hakeem.
Yeah, I'm Hakeem, Obama's personal lawyer.
Friend. What?
And he just contradicts everything that's against Obama. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What it is. He's just making things up, and people would lose their head. But Donald Trump's guy shows up and just lies. So I can understand where Joe Biden was coming from in that, but it's just it makes you kind of uncomfortable when you say, well, don't let this guy on TV. And then when you look at who the guy is, it's like, well, I don't know what I should be more uncomfortable about. You telling the news not to book this guy or that this guy even exists. So,
but I think,
it's like...
but I think that's where we're going to see shining examples of journalism. Because these people, there will not be a lack of people ready to shill for the Republican Party who want to be on TV. Because they get paid good money to do it. Let's keep it real. Right. So, they're going to be out there. it will be up to the journalists, the reporters, etc., the newsrooms,
right,
to hold these people to account in real time when able and immediately afterwards. And I think if they do that, then shit, maybe the credibility of journalism and reporters in this country can improve, and we can take down the most corrupt president we ever had.
Yeah.
So that's my hope. But I'm gonna be honest, and you know I love the news, but I think this case is so fucking clear cut. We really don't need them. We kind of just really need the people in Congress to do their jobs. Like, the people get it.
Right.
I'm not saying we don't need journalists generally. I'm just saying, if everybody at CNN decided to take a break until the House actually moves to vote on impeachment,
right,
the people would still get it, and it would still have a 55% approval rating.
Right.
And
I agree.
People would still be. It's that easy. It's that clear.
It should be, but as long as we have Republicans out there spinning, we need to make sure we're spinning too.
Right.
And everybody should be out, and I just want to know, what is it going to take to stop the Republicans from, spinning for this president in these crimes? Like, what's going to come out before they say, like, okay, we can't do this anymore? And I think, is that going to be the Nixon moment? Is that going to be, you need to resign, sir? We can't defend this anymore? Because I feel like as you're watching Republicans and you look at their talking points that are being leaked, like everything else,
Yep.
It's like they're almost at that point where, like, we don't know. Like, at some point, we're gonna have to tell this guy we don't know what to say anymore because it's not working out.
Right.
And are we getting to that point?
We are here.
Are we
We're
almost,
here.
Are we there to where it's not even going to be an issue anymore for the journalists to have their job's going to be so easy because there's no longer going to be Republicans showing up talking about how great this president is and how innocent this president is when it's clearly, obviously not the case.
Yeah.
So when it comes coming back to journalism, I just want to know, like, when is that point going to come? Like you said, we're here. Is this it where journalists or Republicans is it almost time for them to show up and be like, yeah, you know what, we're just trying to figure out who we're running next year. This is our principles. This is why we, versus I talk about Donald Trump. They're not going to, entertain this idea anymore. And I want to know, when do they get to that point? Because then, journalism will be a lot easier. People will be able to, focus on things. You won't have to worry about, do I book the guy who's going to lie, or do I book the guy who's going to, try to mislead the audience? And do I fact check him here? Do I fact check him there? How much, what fact? It's really probably a hard time to be a journalist, especially in a national scene, because if you don't fact check in real time, people jump down your throat, and you may not even have the ability to do so. So it's very difficult. Journalists shouldn't have to do that to this extent,
right?
Especially with the president of the United States. When you deal with the office of the presidency, it should be pretty straightforward.
Right.
You shouldn't have to worry about, like, oh, this guy's coming on representing the president. We need to be heightened. We need a fact check in real time.
Right.
Like, really? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, come on.
It's a press conference,
right? Yeah. So
we gotta fucking Google everything they say.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody Googling everything, in your ear, and you're like, that's bullshit. So.
You're right.
It shouldn't be like this. So I want to know eventually when that happens, things will change.
Well, like I said, I think that time is now. And speaking of time, it's about time we go. That's about it for us this week on the Kitchen Table Pundits podcast.
Take on impeachment.
What's that?
So that's our take on impeachment.
Yes, that's our take on impeachment. And listen, if you liked it, let us know by sending us an email at thebestkitchentablepodcast@gmail.com. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at the Kitchen Table Pundits. And stay classy, America.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. I don't know.
That's all we have.
It's fucking impeachment time. It's Miller time, bitch. So stay informed. I mean, pay attention. It's going to get real. And
watch the news.
Read
a newspaper, an article, something. Stay informed. Get involved.
Become media literate, because we need you to know what we're talking about when we rant like this.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. That does it for us. Y'all stay up.
All right.